and here we are again with box number 9, which feels like yet another box of books. I saw a box of personal letters sitting in there. I could see it through the hand holes, and I'm very tempted to do that, but I know that that's going to be a big one, so I think I'll hold off on it for now. By the way, I did a bunch of these before I posted them, probably about 10 or 15 of them. So if this series has any followers in the future, if it becomes an actual thing that people care about, that's why I'm not really responding to anything people are saying, but I will in the future. I wonder if this will get any comments. As always, I wonder if anybody cares, not only about my stuff, but about me. It's an interesting experiment. All right, books, as I thought. And it looks like it's a lot of art books. Yeah, I'll have to look up what this is because it looks interesting. Spring of 1962. An interesting book. It's about things that are out of place, like the Statue of Liberty in Las Vegas. Oh, some beauties in here. Children's books. Looks like this is a lot of collectible type stuff. An original Pogo book. Again, I won't go through all of this stuff. I do wonder though, maybe there are book people watching this because there are so many interesting book things that I have. Kevin and Kel, Wonderful Furry series. There must be at least 10 or 15 books in it. Really deserves wider attention. Libido magazine. This was, as you could guess, a sex-oriented literary magazine, a journal, really. I have the first 5 issues, I think. I fooled around with a member of their staff who was much older than me. Well, much older. It felt much older. I was like 20, and she was like in her 30s, which now seems sort of interesting because I end up fooling around with younger people now, but I was never into fooling around with older people, so it seemed like a big deal. Just some more books. Oh, good, another trans book. I've been meaning to recommend this to a friend. So yeah, lots and lots of books. Oh, Alison Bechdel. I've met her several times actually, and I'm checking to see if these are signed. Yep, this one's signed. And she signed it, she says, nice t-shirt, because I was wearing a t-shirt that I bought off of her in the 80s when she did a bookstore appearance. Because I've been following her pretty much since she got started with Dykes to Watch Out For, and even her postcards before that. Fun Home is, of course, her towering achievement for which she got the result of this was the MacArthur Prize. Yeah, and that one's signed too. I sold off a lot of my books to an antiquarian, a collectible book person in Oberlin. He went through my collection, he picked out a big box of stuff. I think those might have been in it, and I said, you know what? I don't want to sell them. Okay, more Kevin and Kel. Oh, this is interesting, the AIDS epidemic, but what's interesting about it is the date. It is a journal kind of thing, with medical papers from 1983. When I was 15. So that AIDS really had an influence on my sexual development. I should say fear of AIDS. But it wasn't just AIDS. I was always afraid of pregnancy if I had sex with AFAB people, and it just goes on. O'Reilly book. Josh Kornbluth is great. If you ever get a chance to see Haiku Tunnel, his feature film, it's one of these little films that few people know about and is really quite good. It's a lot like Office Space, another old Pogo. This is interesting. It's the story of an audio engineer in Los Angeles who gets a gig to produce the album of a terrible band that somehow the labels got into a bidding war to get. And I believe this book is actually fairly valuable now because it's the first edition. Is it signed? It could be signed. No, it's not signed. No, it's not the first edition, so maybe it's not as valuable as I think. But it went on to become kind of famous and interesting. Oh, and by the way, I noticed the quote here, Gina Arnold, Metro Newspapers. I used to work with Gina Arnold because I worked at Metro Newspapers, which is the San Jose Metro. I had that job in 1993. This came out in 2002. Okay. It's about an Oberlin-related thing. So basically, this is a lot of my signed books, it looks like. So these will go into the locked room. This was an important book to me in college, and I believe this is signed by Gloria Steinem, who I've met a few times. I think this might have been the first MacBook. Antonio Yuhas, she and I used to work at the same cafe in San Francisco. She wrote this. She was writing this book while I was writing my real estate book, which would have been 2008. Is it signed? Oh, how could you? Oh, yes, there it is. She says, thanks for all the support, although I didn't give her much. We just sat across from each other, occasionally chatted. Written by someone I know. Again, quite old, Eudora 5. Oh, this is a great furry series. Ursula Vernon is well recognized and deservedly so. Let's see what else. Ooh, nice. What year? I'm going to assume that some book people are watching this, so let's see if I can get any kind of 1900. Wow, this came out like right after the fire. I don't know if it's valuable, but it sure looks it. It's just a great cover. And then, let's see, are there pictures? Yeah, there's pictures. It's not really my field of study or interest, but I'll bet that there are people who would just go crazy over this. I still haven't read this, and I'd like to actually. This one's signed, and I think that has some value, but I only paid like $5 for it because I bought it in Berkeley, where Michael Chabon lives. Or maybe it's a first edition. Oh, it is an autographed copy, it says on the front. Max Schulman, very funny. He became a TV writer eventually and did The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. A very influential book to me as somebody who's into fat women, basically, but also into body issues. I had 2 copies of this, and I think I sold one. Art Spiegelman will sign pretty much anything. I don't mean that, in a negative way, but look at that. He doodled a picture, and yeah, good for him. Author of Mouse, if you're not familiar. It's too bad the cover's torn because I believe that this has quite a bit of value. It's the first 10 years of Apple being in business. So it's 1976 to 1986. There's a young Steve Jobs. What a piece of work he is. I did not mourn his passing. Old geography book. Old pocket Bible, rather torn up, probably no value, but it's kind of interesting. It's 1864. And it's kind of funny that I held on to this like something of value because in America, 1864 is old. It's not old here in the Netherlands. I regularly see things from the 1700s, 1600s. Oh, this is a good book. It's a collection of all of the Pulitzer Prize photographs, many of which you might find familiar. Yeah. And that's it. Good old pure book box, and with lots of stuff of collector interest. So yeah, slightly personal stuff in here, but a lot of it is kind of like, ooh, this is a shiny thing.